Okay. Following the release of your self-titled album, you received such a positive reception and it went straight to number one. Were you expecting anything like that to happen when you were just some friends making music in your bedrooms?
Not at all, no, the opposite. We never had any kind of aspirations and that kind of thing. We were just making music because we liked it.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
quite a personal thing that you are there. Like you made it just for you, not for the
exactly,
industry sort of
that's
thing.
the whole thing, yeah. Well, not for any purpose apart from just doing it for ourselves, you know. I think that's where the kind of humanity and the honesty lies. So yeah, no, we never had an agenda or anything like that.
So are you worried about putting music out because it is so personal, about people's reception, or were you not bothered about that? Like you did it.
I didn't really have a choice once it started coming out. I think what I realised is that we started to be defined, or especially lyrically, we started to be defined by being quite honest.
Yeah.
And I think that honesty was there because I was making music that wasn't for anybody else. I wasn't doing it, nobody was hearing it, so I wasn't like being judged, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel that once it started and people had started really investing in it, I needed to be as honest as possible, you know, I needed to
stay
embrace
true to
it. Exactly.
Yeah. Your family are all musical, and you once said you were influenced by 80s R&B soul sort of thing. Is that how the 1975 sound came about? Because it's really individual from what's out there now. Like.
Thank you. Yeah, I suppose so. Our lineage, our like history is kind of in black American music. Like that's kind of what I grew up listening to, from everything from soul to R&B and the pop. And I think the 1975 is a combination of everything. We were kind of like an experimental, like ambient rock band for a long time, and then when we started to embrace those other elements, it started to get more, you know?
Yeah, people seem to like it.
Yeah, that's true.
Why not? Listening to your music, I feel as though like sometimes the sound juxtaposes the lyrics. Is that intentional or?
Yeah, very much so. Well, I don't know if it's intentional. It's just a representation of who I am. I'm a bit depressive, and I'm a bit. I find myself being quite self-loathing and self-deprecating, but I'm also a big fan of big uplifting pop music.
Yeah.
I always say my ideal song would convey the message and the lyrics of Leonard Cohen, but sound, you know, I want it to have the lyrics and the message of Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, but sound like I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. That's my ideal song.
That's like the perfect mix.
That's like the perfect mix. And I think that whole contradiction, that juxtaposition between something that's maybe a bit more dour and something that's more uplifting, that's very kind of apparent in maybe the synergy between our aesthetic and our music, you know, the fact that it's kind of like our music is quite uplifting to face value, but our image and everything else is maybe a bit more dour and detached from reality and stuff.
Yeah. Your 1975 is your first album, following several EPs. What made you choose to include chocolate sex in the city album, and how did you change them to suit the album?
Well, this is the thing. People aren't used to things not working chronologically, so I'll explain to you how that happened.
Okay.
We wrote that album, so if we think of it as a timeline, we were the band, and then we pretty much got a collection of songs we decided was our album, around about here. Then we decided we were going to put it out, so we thought, well, we need people to understand it, and we don't want to put out singles, because singles...
If they flop, it goes like...
Exactly, and we wanted a wealth of material for people to invest in early on. We wanted a lot of music so people really understood who we were. So we took 3 songs off the album to be the first 3 songs that people heard. The City, Sex and Chocolate.
Yeah.
We wrote an EP around the City, we wrote an EP around Sex, and we wrote an EP around Chocolate. So the EPs were written after the album.
Yeah.
Always waiting for the album to come out. So we always knew we were going to have EP versions of the City, Chocolate and Sex.
Sorry, mate.
It's alright.
You should.
We can work through that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we always knew there was going to be EP versions of those songs, and we always knew there was going to be album versions, because albums, you know, like proper albums, they need to be coherent pieces of work.
Yeah.
They can't be like recordings from here and there and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you for sharing that.
No.
You're currently on tour after an incredible festival season.
Mm-hmm.
Which was your favourite festival to go?
Oh, they were all amazing. It sounds boring, but they were all incredible, and it was very special for different reasons. Glastonbury, because it's Glastonbury, Teeling Park, because it was mental. Reading and Leeds was like, it was like the week before our album, and you couldn't get into the tent, and it was like the talk of the festival, and it was so. It was a big moment. It was a big moment for us, and it was a big moment for a lot of people, and that was probably my favourite.
Did you play songs from the album?
Yeah, mainly, pretty much. No, it wasn't. We've been playing songs from the album all year. We knew that by the time we wanted our live show to be a representation of the album, so even before it came out, we were playing album songs.
Yeah.
So people were starting to get to know them more and more and more.
As they got to know you as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Your image is spoken about quite often by what you wear and your artwork in the videos, and they seem to follow the theme of black and white. Can you explain more about it? Very fitting.
Black and white, for me. Well, I think it's because it detaches. Well, let's talk about the bands. The fact that everything being in black and white kind of detaches it from reality.
Yeah.
It was when we initially wanted to put things in black and white. It meant that we weren't so as exposed as people, because, like we've spoken about before, it's a very personal endeavour.
Yeah.
Something of which we weren't too comfortable with being really, really judged on, partially because we didn't care, and it's not very nice to be judged, you know.
Yeah.
So we kind of detached it from reality, and like I said before, it was also because we were aware that our music's quite, it leans on pop sensibilities, so it's nice to have something that juxtaposes that a little bit.
Yeah.
And I look better in black and white. That's where a couple of the clothes things come from. I don't really like colour that much. And I like black and white, and it's simple.
They take a look at me all the time.
Look at what she's
wear
wearing.
that all the time.
Look at what she's wearing.
And they're like,
Truman Capote said that in your early 20s or whenever, you should pick a look and you should stick with it, because you'll forever be timeless.
Oh my god.
This is my look now, forever.
they're timeless.
Forever timeless.
You can go to the top shop and buy all the pink tops you want, but at the end of the day, next season.
So you two are twins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. You said that though, didn't you?
Yeah.
I missed the twins, but I saw your sisters, but you're obviously twins.
Yeah. And have people wonder why you tweet how you do? Have you got a reason behind it at all, or is it just because it sets you apart and you stand out on my timeline all the time? I follow like 18,000 people, like 1975 right there, because I can just see it.
I think it's the fact that art is all about kind of the conversation, isn't it? If it promotes conversation, that's a good thing. It came from the beginning. Like, the reason I stylized everything so much is because I didn't want to be judged as a person. If I was going to be judged on a global level, not on a global level, but if I was going to give myself up to kind of mass exposure over the internet and the music industry, I wanted to be judged as the 1975.
Yeah.
It almost removes the personal judgment from me. So the spaces in between everything was solidifying the identity of the 1975.
Yeah.
It means that everything was the 1975, and it's a coherent thing.
Yeah. Okay, and to finish, which of your lyrics would describe the band mostly, do you think? In a nutshell, any lyrics or ones of your own? Like a quote or anything?
Oh.
Dressed in black head to toes, probably.
Thank you for that. Okay.